Cubs beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. Let's go.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Hopefully, 2 thumbs up from Sam right there. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. The best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Cubs win 2 out of 3 to take the series from the Dodgers this weekend. Cubs with a 9-7 win Friday, 4-1 loss Saturday, and 8-1 win Sunday. Cubs are now 6-3 as they move on to their long West Coast trip, which we will preview later in the episode. Sam, the Dodgers are an elite team. We're able to tell that this early for sure. But what we're able to tell also is the Cubs not only hung around and put up a fight, but they really did put up an impressive showing for a great series win.
Yeah, this was a really nice early season series win. I'm not going to use the word statement. I'm not going to use any of that stuff. But it was a really nice series win. Starting on Sunday, let's work backwards. I think that's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
I thought Shota Imanaga was, even though he didn't get a chance to finish his outing because of the weather, he looked really good again, firing strikes, getting whiffs.
He only throws strikes.
It was really,
it's crazy.
It was really difficult for him it was really difficult for the Dodgers to catch up to his fastball. He mixed his pitches and he really didn't give up a whole lot of hard contact in his 4 innings of work. Right. And the bats right now, are really hot, and it's not really one guy. It's really starting to spread out a bit. I mean, I thought the hit on Sunday, I thought the biggest hit of the weekend was Michael Busch on Sunday in the first inning, because we went to the ball game Saturday, which we'll talk about later. Spoiler alert, there's going to be some good material. And bases loaded, no outs, didn't score. Bases loaded, 2 outs, didn't score. You felt like if you didn't get to Stone and that opportunity, it could have been a repeat of Saturday, and he clears the bases with a double in left center field. Michael Busch, I said it on Friday in my tweet, Michael Busch may be a dude.
Yes.
He might be a guy.
Absolutely. Well, that'd be a huge lift for the team.
All this talk about Pete Alonso, and that's great. And Pete Alonso right now is 0 for his last 14. And I just want to say Michael Busch may be a dude. So
absolutely. He is the highlight from the weekend because he contributed Friday too, offensively and defensively.
And then, the rest of the game, a little scare there with the rain. I did learn that the COVID rules are in effect. So that game would have just been suspended. Yeah. So that was good. The game we went to was really boring.
There's like no action.
It was a really boring game. Most of the action happened in the bleachers, and then Friday's game was just a tremendous display of baseball.
I thought Friday was a thrilling game.
Huge hits from Madrigal and Suzuki and Bush, and then great defense from Bush and great defense from Madrigal and Horner. So it was a great weekend. 6-3 through 9. Couldn't ask for a better start to the season. And now you take a long trip across the country and invade, as you like to say, the fathers of San Diego Monday night against former Cub Yu Darvish.
So many good things to review from the weekend. First of all, Imanaga has thrown 71% strikes so far in his MLB career, albeit the 2 starts. Nearly that 3-hour delay on Sunday, Sam. I passed the time with some things around the house, was excited to have the game back and be played in full. Daniel Palencia just called up on Sunday, pitched the final 3 innings to provide much needed bullpen rest as Julian Merriweather goes to the IL. Yeah, the Bush hit was key. I was jumping up and down, especially after Saturday when the Cubs had the bases loaded, no outs in the first, bases loaded, 2 outs in the second, don't score. And really the biggest point of action from Saturday's game, Sam, was in relief of Jordan Wicks in the top of the 5th. Jose Cuas inherited Teoscar Hernandez at the plate with runners on first and second and 2 outs, and Cuas failed. There's no other way to put it. He allowed a run on a wild pitch, eventually walked Hernandez, then allowed a 2-run bullet double to Max Muncy. I know there's some points of discussion here to have, so we could play that game. But in my mind, there's not much to it, but we could spell it out. Wicks was at 100 pitches in his second start, so he was done, especially with the righty stepping to the plate. Other available options besides Cuas were 4 guys: Almonte, Little, Leiter, and Neris. Smiley, Merriweather, and Alzolay all had their gym shoes on. I guess you could have went Neris.
We're overdoing
right?
this one. Just leave it alone.
Council showed a willingness to go to other guys earlier last weekend.
It's the 5th inning.
It's only the 5th. Cuas didn't execute.
Yeah, it's a simple. Not everything has to be a managerial decision.
Not everything is.
Not everything has to be a DFA,
right?
Either.
Or a demotion.
He came out. He really struggled.
He was bad.
If he does again, he's going to have consequences with his leverage. You saw it with Almonte. Almonte's been bumped down. He was used today in a blowout situation. He looked good.
Right.
Not everything has to go to cut him, or that was a bad move by counsel. If you believe that was a bad move by counsel, you better have said it while it was happening. Because if you're saying it after, that's just hindsight stuff. For example, I thought you have the best case out of everybody as you were sitting next to me as we were being bombarded with fights and a lot of shouts and all these things in the
beer snakes.
You said to me, Sam, now that there was a wild pitch, why don't they just walk Muncy?
Just walk him.
And my response was, well, I don't think they trust Cuas to throw a strike with the bases loaded. But that was probably something, thinking more about it, that there was a case for. But to me, you weren't going to sweep the Dodgers. So you won 2 out of 3. Saturday was the game that you got beat. Fine. It happened to be the game we were at. Maybe I won't go to one the rest of the year. It'll be fine by me.
But Wicks was good.
Wicks was awesome.
He was really good.
Imanaga was awesome.
Right.
I really liked everything I saw this weekend. I want to get this in now because I'm looking at our layout. I just want to make sure we plug this. There was one piece of, I would say, very bad news that came out of today, and that was Julian Merriweather is going to the injured list with a shoulder strain, and you just hope that it's something small. I tweeted out on Friday, to the dismay of a lot of people, thinking that I was being too hard on him. His velocity was way down.
Right. There's something going on.
Yeah, 97 to 99 versus 94 to 96 is a whole different tier of baseball player. So hopefully he's okay. And towards the end, I don't know how much you were watching. Suzuki looked like he was grabbing at something with his swing. So hopefully he's in the lineup in San Diego.
Yeah, maybe he DHs Monday.
Yeah, as long as he's in the lineup.
Yeah.
But overall, it was an A weekend. I mean, we hung in there, and it's not like it's not like we faced any. Stone's definitely probably their worst guy, but we saw Bobby Miller and Yamamoto as well.
Knocking out Bobby Miller Friday was incredible.
I put it in my Twitter video that the second inning of that game was one of the best offensive exhibitions you'll see.
You'll see. Crazy.
And I want to give a shout out to, I thought Sunday afternoon, even though the box score won't show it, this will be one of my previews, and we could set this up for our next segment going into San Diego. I really liked the way Nico Horner looked at the plate. He looked himself.
Good. Well, that's something to take note of.
He looked himself.
Cubs were down 2-0 Friday, went up 6-2. Then it was 6-5. Then the Cubs went up 9-5, 9-7. What a thrilling 5-run second, as we mentioned there. to knock out the McHenry product. Miller.
And how about the two run saving plays, one by Horner and one by Bush to close the ball game? Adbert Alzolay struggled once again.
Drew Smiley, conversely, nice job in relief of Kyle Hendricks. Do we have a worry meter on Hendricks, or are we just playing this by ear at this point?
I think with Kyle Hendricks, if you don't like Kyle Hendricks because he's making $16 million, I can't argue that. That's too high. But if we're just talking about him as a pitcher in a vacuum, we have to wait till he faces a normal offense. The Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Dodgers is not a fair sample size to say that Kyle Hendricks has lost it. It just isn't. His next start is, what does he get? Game 3?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, let's see how that one goes.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. And let's see what else I have here. Mike Talkman with a nice showing this weekend, especially on Sunday. A couple of walks, a double, a nice catch late. An X factor, possibly, for the Cubs.
Just a tremendous fourth outfielder and guy to bring off your bench. Probably overqualified. Overqualified for that.
A significant series win. Don't care what anybody says. Please save the comments that it's early. I think that's not true. Yes, it's true. It's early, but the Dodgers spent literally over $1 billion this winter. They are a elite team. The composition, obviously, this isn't Locked On Dodgers, but the composition of their team, especially considering who's not available, it's impressive. And Cubs roster moves, as we said, Merriweather to IL, Palencia up. We'll do more on that and possible upcoming roster decisions on Tuesday's episode, including updates on Jamison Tyone and Patrick Wisdom, as a Wisdom for somebody swap does seem imminent, possibly as soon as this upcoming weekend. All right, coming up next, let's preview the next one. It's a 10-day, 9-game trip for the Cubs, and it is going to be difficult, but I think that's part of the fun. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and then watch the winnings roll in. With baseball season officially underway, don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play, with entries taking less than 60 seconds to submit, turning $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps of your screen. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's a first deposit match up to $100 by using code LOCKEDONMLB. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Welcome back to SiriusXM. Another great partner for us here on Locked On Cubs this season. The Cubs play the Padres at 8:40 p.m. Central on Monday. We all got to come up with a plan to stay up for these games. And you can hear every pitch of the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. Well, that's right. The Cubs begin a 3-game series with the Padres on Monday as part of a 9-game road trip that goes through April 17th. Wow. First pitch times with the Fathers are 8:40, 9:05, and 5:40. Tuesday's game is at 9:05 because, Sam, it will be aired nationally on TBS as well as the local broadcast. Assad against Darvish, TBD against Musgrove, and Hendricks against Cease. What would you like to see, or what are you looking forward to as the Cubs head west?
Well, it sounds like we're getting kind of their 3 best guys.
I know. Yes, we are.
And I believe the Padres are coming off of. I know they lost on Sunday. Did they?
Yeah,
lose
they're 5-7, but they have scored a lot of runs.
Yeah, they lost that series. Yeah, I think what I'm looking for is just more of the same. Really good at bats.
Okay.
You know, I don't think you're going to face anybody that overwhelms you at the level that Yamamoto or Bobby Miller does. So, more good at
Right.
bats. I'm interested to see. It looks like for the Cubs, it'll be Tuesday will be that like Luke Little, Ben Brown probably combination.
I think so.
West Coast trips are really tough. Even when you're facing bad teams, they're really tough.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that this 9-game trip was probably going to be the trip that defined the month. If you're 6-3, I don't want to set the bar low, but if you come out of this 4-5, you're right where you need to be.
If you win more than you lose, you're 11-7.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right. So I really like where the Cubs have put themselves through the first 9, going 6-3.
Yes.
Huge. San Diego, Seattle, and Arizona just in a very short sample. I don't think any of them are playing great baseball right now.
Not right now.
But, these are tough games. And, there's always that classic give and take. Would you rather have the Padres 8-3 because, then they bank in some wins and, now they're 5-7. You don't want to get too far in that division, too far down because of who you're chasing. I already looked at the Darvish situation. I know the Cubs don't hit him well typically. Like there isn't really, I think Yan Gomes is the only guy that's had really any success. So we'll see. But, you're going in there with some momentum. You're playing really good baseball. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot to be excited about. I mean, we're right now, we're going to go on this West Coast trip without our best pitcher. And in my opinion, probably our best reliever.
Wow.
That's not easy to do.
It's a tall task for sure. I would say if there's a game I'm fearing the most, and fear is not really a right word for me because I don't fear anybody, Sam. But I would say Monday's game. I would. I think
late arrival,
and
Assad
really the
walks
matchup.
The tightrope.
Darvish is the pitcher of the three that I think. I do bat an eye at. Musgrove has got hit around in a small sample this year. I feel good about the Cease matchup for better or worse.
Really?
And so it's really the Darvish one, does this approach that the Cubs are taking, which has been phenomenal, does that continue against another pitcher that has 1,000 pitches? Yamamoto on Saturday was excellent. Kind of in the same or similar realm of, just setting up fastball and throwing all the junk on the planet. Does Darvish do that? Does he play the tape from Saturday's game? Let's see. The Padres lineup, when I look at it on paper,
not that intimidating.
Not intimidating anymore. Fernando Tatis has proven to be a solid player. He's hit 3 homers already. Their highest average right now is actually their catcher, Luis Campusano, 361. But they've struck out a lot already this year, something the Cubs don't do, by the way. So yeah, let's see. There's no strikeout pitchers
for us
lining up for the series besides Ben Brown.
Yeah.
If he does come out in the second inning on Tuesday, I think that could be something to watch for. So,
and do you think Tuesday's game? Those are blacked out here, the TBS games, because it's not straight national.
I think that's true. That's why the local feeds are still available. I don't think we're going to have the TBS call available to us.
Yeah, hopefully it's not blacked out, so I could watch that.
Well, I think Marquis off to a nice start, I have to say.
Yeah, I know. It's just Marquis. It's just I like to watch games on my television. With Marquis,
right. You got this Fire Stick, right?
Yeah, right.
Cubs 6-3. Let's see what they could do against the Padres out west, beginning at 8:40 on Monday. Matt, don't drink caffeine. You've been good. You haven't really had much caffeine after 4 p.m. lately.
Not the Saturday.
The weekends you've burned.
Yeah.
I'm talking weekdays, player. Weekends.
Got it.
Okay, so just stay with water, please. I'm talking to myself. I know it's awkward. Stick with water. Have some fruits during the game. Okay, get a boost. Maybe some grapes, some bananas, some oranges. Okay, maybe some toast with peanut butter, and we'll make it. We'll make it with these games.
Toast with peanut butter. What are you?
Well, listen. By this sweater, you could tell I'm pretty old. So yeah, we all have to create a plan for that. We will be live after these games.
We're going to be live at 3 a.m.
It's going to be a late night party. We're going to be live. The plan, Sam, was to be live after all 3 ball games. So, there you go. Coming up next, Sam and I were at Wrigley Field on Saturday, our first Cubs game together since taking over the show back in July of 2022. And we had a fantastic experience. We're going to tell you all about it coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. The reason why we even went to the game on Saturday in the first place. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. And I have firsthand experience with that. A couple of days before Saturday's game, we got the tickets, hopped on there. Even as you get closer to the time, even better. Last-minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and a low price guarantee. The experience of searching and then buying tickets on Game Time is so simple. The app is so easy to use and really gives you a peace of mind when you purchase your tickets there. And you can see your view from the seat before you buy as well. We didn't need that. We were in the bleachers, but 200 level, 300, 400, maybe you're in the 100s. You can see your seat too. For a limited time right now, all users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Game Time app with code FIRSTPITCH. Terms do apply. That's code FIRSTPITCH for $20 off only through April 14th. So perhaps you're a Cubs fan out there on the West Coast and you could catch your team in San Diego or Seattle. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. What an experience we had on Saturday at the game, Sam. It was actually warm in the sun in the bleachers. I got a sunburn.
So did I.
A little
Look
bit
at my nose.
My nose especially is recovering. And it was like a different climate in the shade, one of those April days. Don't typically go to games this early. I did go to one last year, but that was my first one, in April part of the schedule. It's just a little bit risky, for that reason of weather. But let's start to share about our experience because it was pretty surreal. I thought.
So I got a best and worst for it.
Oh.
Would you like me to go? Because I think we're gonna have the same best. Would you like me to start with the worst?
All right. Yeah, let's hear about that.
Okay, outside of the incredible, and Matt, we're going to talk about this, the incredible fan interaction that we had. So we're going to talk about that in a bit. This is not about the fan interaction whatsoever. I'm just going to say that one more time because people like to get on me. This is not about any interactions we had with our listeners. This is just pure bleacher experience.
Bleacher experience. All right.
It was awful. Okay. I know the bleachers are defined as you got your rowdy and all these things. Let's show a little bit of class and watch the baseball games. The cup snake stuff's fine. I don't like it at all, but whatever. But the fighting, the chirping, and not at the ball players, each other.
Yeah.
You and I were just. We were just kind of minding our own business. I don't think either one of us really ate anything at this ball game.
No, we zero food or drinks.
We were just trying to enjoy two historic franchises doing battle on a nice April afternoon, and I felt like I was in a movie.
Right.
It was ridiculous. To my left, some guy's throwing a punch. To my right, some guy's yelling at people about rickets. Behind me, some guy's fighting.
Yeah. Move down.
In front of me is a guy whipping beer. I mean, it was ridiculous. Show a little class.
Yeah. And a lot of people were there to watch the game. 41,000, most fans at Wrigley since 2019. But the bleachers, wow, what a different animal it is out there. That quite frankly doesn't include a lot of baseball watching. Is that a reach? I don't think that's a reach at this point.
No, I think that'll be outside of Nick's bachelor party will be the last time I sit in the bleachers all season.
What a nice surprise walking into the stadium. We get the Pat Hughes giveaway sweater. Did not expect that. We're wearing these right now. And that was the first time we interacted with the listener. One of the ticket personnel there at the gate. I mean, we barely got through the gate, Sam, literally.
Well, no, even before we got to the gate, when we were eating lunch, we ran into a couple of listeners.
Yeah.
Linda and her friend.
Yeah, shout out to them. That's true. That's true. And barely getting up the ramp, we got stopped. Matt and Sam, and it was really cool. I'm going to go through some photos on YouTube, and then we'll talk over them for the audio peeps as well. But this one, hard to see on video, but
hard to see on video. I feel like I got cataracts.
Well, it's a a vertical setup.
I can't see there.
But that was on the ramp up to the bleachers there. A lot of everydayers right there. Here's Jameel, Sam.
Jameel, can I talk about Jameel for a second?
Yeah, let's do that.
I really enjoyed my interaction with Jameel. He was really excited to see us, and you could just tell he was such a genuine young man, a genuine Cub fan. He was there just watching the game. He wasn't there to do anything else but root this team on to win. Yes. He was so nice to us. I really enjoyed meeting him. Shout out to Jameel. He said he's an everydayer, so I hope he's listening. He seems like a really good guy.
Yeah, I'd like to see him again at a game.
Me too. Maybe have him on the show next time we do our
great idea.
Yeah,
great idea. Yes, we should have everyone.
He seemed great. Then I took more photos than that.
Let's see. Here's Jacob.
Let me tell you something about Jacob.
Jacob, high school senior. Big listener.
Jacob's a high school senior, and in 5 years, he's going to have more money than I'll ever have in my entire life.
He's going to be our bosses.
This guy will be my boss in 2029. Okay? He's a hustler. I mean, some of the things, this was like his fourth game already. I didn't even know they played that many.
He's got a podcast. He's got a blog.
Yeah, he was really
He's
interesting
all over
to talk to. It made me feel like I probably need to work harder.
And finally, Mikey and Ben, the 120 podcast. They have been listening and watching our show.
I'd like you to take down that photo. I look horrible.
And hopefully we could do something with them soon.
One of the worst pictures I've ever taken.
Exciting to see them. Shout out to Illinois State where they reside. All right. Well,
now, as we were taking that photo, I almost got hit with a right hand.
Yeah, it was rough out there.
It really was. And folks, I
know we know about the bleachers, but it shouldn't be like that.
No, and listen,
it escalated Saturday for us.
I am probably up there in terms of the biggest Seiya Suzuki supporters, I through thick and thin. If you have a choice between right and left, he's not going to acknowledge you out in right field, okay?
Yeah, he doesn't do anything with the fans.
Neither
does Bellinger.
I thought he'd come out and do something. Hap even does something, and Hap never even smiles. I never know what Hap's upset about.
Yeah.
The guy's making a ton of money. He's hitting the ball great, and his face stays the same. What's he so angry about all the time?
We will be live after Monday's game against the Padres.
You will. I don't know if I will be.
That's going to be sometime between 11:30 and midnight Central.
Oh, God.
When you say it out loud, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Can I
Especially as a teacher that reports to the building at 7-something.
Can I eat on the show?
No, that needs to be done during the game. Like I said, you made fun of me for my eating plan. That's got to happen before the show. Okay.
That's going to be a late night.
Thank you so much. Well, we got 2 in a row. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs.
You might be
with
so
a laugh or two along the way. Next Monday, Tuesday as well. Going to be late in AZ. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. Smash the like button for the algorithm and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Cubs beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. They're now 6-3. On the season. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
There is momentum happening here.